And then something happened that very much surprised me and certainly two other crew chiefs. Myself, Denny Fuller, and Dale Corbett received orders that we were being transferred to B Troop 3rd of the 17th Air Cavalry, another aviation outfit, pretty much immediately. This was another transfer of necessity. The three of us were crew chiefs who would be going home in about 2 months, and that would leave the 128th short of crew chiefs at a particular bad time, so the command thought. We also were told that we crew chiefs had enough stick time, taught to fly the helicopter on single flight missions, that we would be taught to fly the Cobra gunship as the front seat gunner pilot, as the Army was short of Cobra pilots. That to me sounded exciting. I only saw a Cobra gunship a few times, but it was supposed to be a top-of-the-line helicopter. I know it looked pretty sleek and had only the 2 pilots as a crew. We 3 crew chiefs grabbed all our belongings, which we stuffed into a duffel bag each, our M16S, ammo, and all of our orders, and took a helicopter ride to, I think, DNA base camp just northeast of Saigon. We signed in there as the whole B Troop were moving to Dong Tam. It was a very confusing time as the helicopters and other things were flown down to Dong Tam in the 4th Corps area, and the rest of the equipment was to be trucked down there in a convoy. A trip of about 50 miles. We relocating crew chiefs were to ride shotgun in the front seats of 3 trucks with the convoy going from Dien Base Camp to Dong Tam Base Camp. It was a long convoy, but like many convoys it was ambushed or something happened and everyone stopped on the road. In this case, we were supposed to get out of the trucks and take up defensive positions in the ditches alongside of the dirt road. I instead laid down under the truck. I remembered the story about the 11th Armored Cavalry being attacked on a road, and when the infantry jumped into the ditch alongside of the road to take up defensive positions, the NVA-VC set off mines in the ditch and killed about 50 of the guys who were in the ditch. After a while I could hear that all the commotion was going on in the front of the convoy. In a usual convoy ambush, the convoy is hit in the front and in the back so that everything comes to a standstill, and then the enemy hits the convoy with mortars and machine gun fire, RPGs, and whatever else. There was some shooting going on up front, and then some helicopter gunships flew low level overhead. That should take care of things, I figured. Once again, helicopters to the rescue. I sure did not like being on the ground. I sort of felt useless. I could not see what was going on, and I could not get into the fight. Frustrating. Eventually we were moving again. I felt terrible about being transferred out of the 128th. Pretty much everyone I knew was there, and I felt I was contributing directly and to a large degree to the war effort as a crew chief and machine gunner. I was good at it. Not only was I blind, only seeing vegetation on both sides of the road 20 yards away, but I had no idea what was going on. We were probably ambushed or someone hit a road mine or both. I had no radio transmissions from the all-around area of where and what was happening. In the helicopter, I could see the horizon all around me. I could see everything as it was happening. I was blind on the ground. With the radio channels I had on the helicopter, I could hear what was occurring as it was happening all around me. I could participate in the battle in a big way. In this ground thing, I felt blind and deaf and could do nothing to help in the situation that was occurring, whatever that was. And instead of an M60 machine gun, I had an M16, which seemed like a pea shooter to me. The M60 and its ammo commanded a huge respect. The M16 and its ammo was a lightweight in a heavyweight fight. I did not like the whole situation whatsoever. After about 30 minutes, the trucks in front started going again, as did we as we followed. After about another 20 minutes, we were ambushed or whatever again and stopped. I still did not know what was occurring, and neither did anyone else around me. After a few explosions and gunfire, we proceeded on our way once again. Geez. We finally reached Dong Tam Base Camp headquarters of the 9th Infantry Division. This was in 4 Corps area of mostly rice paddies. The Mekong Delta very flat, very wet, and very open. The base camp had 2-story wooden barracks, which I thought of as very dangerous. As new arrivals, Dale, Denny, and I were assigned bunks on the 2nd floor, which was a bay area with about 50 bunks about 5 feet apart with mosquito nets over them. Lots of mosquitoes in the wet Mekong Delta area. The water table was so high here that the sandbag bunkers were all above ground. I asked about the frequency of rocket attacks, and one guy said they get them once in a while. What does once in a while mean, I asked, and he said about every hour. Funny guy, at least. Once in a while meant a couple of times a week. There was a rocket attack when I was there that killed all 14 guys at once in a bunker when the bunker took a direct hit. The NVA were using rockets with delayed fuses. The rockets would bury themselves into the bunker before exploding, killing everyone in the bunker. So, what's the point of running to a bunker during a rocket attack if the bunker cannot protect us except from stray shrapnel? I said we need to dig holes for protection, but by digging down 1 foot, one hit water, thus the reason for above-ground bunkers. Just piling sandbags up in a circle on top of the ground, I suppose, would be the best protection. Plus, the NVA were also using 240mm rockets along with 122mm rockets, which had a range of 7.5 miles. I was getting more concerned about rockets as I was getting short. But here I was ready to go flying again as a pilot crew chief in a Cobra gunship. I was sleeping in the second-floor bunk, not feeling comfortable with it at all. In the morning, I would go out to the flight line and pull mechanics and arm the Cobra gunship that I was assigned to. Then, as other Cobras would come in from flight, a team of us would work on the ships and arm them with rockets and ammo for the minigun. A very, to me, boring job. I felt like a slave. I wanted to get back into the combat action. Where was this deal that experienced crew chiefs might be flying front seat in the Cobra? No such thing happened, as they said that new Cobra pilots had arrived. Somehow I moved to a ground-level barracks with rooms. I built my own bed out of 4x4 lumber and sandbags. I don't mind taking my chances fighting, but being blown away by a rocket I figured was a waste. I disliked close explosions with a passion. There really was no defense against them except my feeble attempts with the bed. When the rockets hit, I rolled out of bed and crawled under it. Not much protection, but it made me feel better. In my experience of combat, it was hit whoever was zeroing in on me with my bullets before they hit me. A very simple rule. Now to get back into the fray. I went to meet the first sergeant of the company and told him I wanted to crew a helicopter. He was an older, grizzled fellow, infantry airborne, who went through World War II and the Korean War. He said sit down and asked if I wanted a shot with him of Johnny Walker Scotch and a cigarette. I said okay as he pulled a bottle and 2 shot gases out of his desk drawer and filled them and threw a pack of cigarettes across the desk to where I was sitting. Those are French cigarettes, the best. I said thanks as he and I raised the shot glasses and drained them. We also lit the cigarettes and inhaled very strong tobacco. He turned around and grabbed a folder out of a file cabinet. I see that you went through a lot of combat, and I understand why you prefer flying than working a ground routine. But my advice to you is that you did your share of combat and that you play it safe now. We don't have openings for crew chiefs now anyway, and we now have a sufficient number of pilots for the gun crews. I told him that I didn't like crewing a helicopter that I couldn't fly on, that they were flying off to meet the NVA, and I was left standing there. It sort of was like torture to me, I said. He laughed and said that he understood. For now, he said, go to the motor pool in the morning and ride shotgun on a dump truck that would be going to the garbage dump a few times daily. The trucks took sniper fire now and then, and that will be your new job. And oh, he said, I see that the 3 of you from the 128th Assault didn't get paid last month and none of you had an R&R yet. I will see that you get paid and get your R&Rs. You guys are pretty tricky fellows, I like that, he said, laughing. He knew exactly what we did. He had everyone pegged, a very accurate judge of character. It was true, we had to carry all our records with us from the 128th to B Troop. And we decided together to pull out our last pay record and our R&R record. Just 2 sheets of paper and see if we could get away with it. We didn't fool the first sergeant, as he probably did the same thing along the way in the Army. I never did anything dishonest in my 20 years of life, but the Army was a very unfair organization to be in. The upper ranks would get all the good things and the common soldiers became the casualties, maimed and killed, and had to subject themselves to some of the most foolish decisions made when their lives depended upon good tactical decisions. We combat veterans of Vietnam knew that the whole war was a very bad decision to begin with and could not be won by the way the war was fought. whatever one meant.